Hey toy fans, Aaron here. Today taking a look at Bo-Katan from Star Wars The Mandalorian. She comes to us on the Vintage Collection card back and everything looks great. You got, of course, the Star Wars Mandalorian logo. Bo-Katan in that lime green colored name pill. Through the background, you got a great image of Bo-Katan just off to the side there with her helmet on. And then through the blister, you get a good look at the action figure. Helmet off to the side. And then at the bottom, you get two included accessories. Here's a quick look at the back side of the card where she is number 226 in the line. And the top half shows off the other figures that are available. And I think this wave of figures came out the end of December, beginning of January this year, 2022. And bottom half of the card is your legal information. Taking a look at her out of the packaging, and this is a fantastic looking figure. I'm fairly certain that all elements of this action figure are brand new. And I'm pretty certain that this is Bo-Katan's first look in the 3 3/4 inch line. As many fans might be aware, we saw this character, I think, about halfway through the Clone Wars show. So really great to be able to get this character into an action figure form. Like I said, especially for the 3 3/4 inch line. And one last little side detail on this figure is that it is 3.5 inches tall. So that's where your height will stand. And that measurement is with her human head on top, not wearing the helmet. Looking in closer on the head sculpting, this is a great representation of the actress that plays Bo-Katan. The sculpting, the paint application, all looks great. Orange coloring from her hair certainly seems to match up with how it looked in the show. Great silver painting for the headband running across the top of her forehead, right along the hairline. On my figure at least, I'm not getting any runs of paint between those various sections. The painting for the eyebrows, the eyes, the lips there, all looks fantastic. Getting into the arms and chest of the figure. Detailing for the uniform looks, well, great once again. Seems like it really lines up with how she looked in the show. Great emblem detailing on the side of each shoulder. And those armor pieces are sculpted onto the chest itself and extend out over the arms. And it doesn't hinder the arm movement all that much. You're not going to be able to lift them straight up. But as you see later, you still get some good side movement coming out. And then on the plus side, though, you're not seeing a big seam between her arm and shoulder joint. If you look closely, you will see some ribbing texture being sculpted into the fabric of her gray jumpsuit, very much in line with the show. At the forearms of each arm, you've got some blue gauntlets painted in. And you got a mix of gray painting within the blue on her right forearm for that gauntlet, and some silver painted in on that left one, so it definitely helps highlight the various elements sculpted in there. And you've even got a little grime buildup painted onto those gauntlets. Some cream color armor at the backside of her hands, and then each hand is already pre-sculpted to hold the two weapons that she comes with. So those are in a nice open position. Armor detailing across the chest also looks great. Some dark brown straps that are coming over the shoulder down into that chest armor. Very nice silver color to that chest armor with some slight scuffs painted in to give it a little bit of world wear, if you will. And then still that gray jumpsuit underneath painted in. Along the backside, you've got her small jetpack. Great silver and blue painting for that. Very nice sculpting. It is removable if you so choose. It's just a little peg slotted in there. Leaves a big hole in her back, but gotta have it attached somehow, right? Beneath that jetpack is once again some silver armor painted in. And when the jetpack is on, it stays very secure against her back, so that doesn't seem like it's going to go anywhere. Getting around her waist, she got a very nice burgundy belt with two holsters, one on each hip sculpted in. Same as those armor pieces, the plastic for these holsters is very pliable, so as you move the legs around, they're not getting in the way. Through the middle of that belt, you got some great silver and looks like maybe some bronze painting, goldish color in there. A little bit of silver highlight painting on the edge of those holster bands as they come off the belt. Through the backside, no additional painting, but just various pouches and such completing the, I guess, the utility belt. And to note, those are functioning holsters, so you can store each weapon on each side of her hip. Getting to the legs of the action figure, basic Mandalorian look here, gray jumpsuit, various wrinkles and some soft folds sculpted in. On the side of each upper thigh, she does have some armor also sculpted on and painted in a silver color. The edges on the left side of her leg for my action figure have bled off just a little bit. To my eye, that's not all that noticeable, and I'm sure, as in all cases, that's something that's going to vary figure to figure. Then you get down around the kneecaps where you've got more armor sculpted in, done in a blue color that matches very well with the rest of the blue on the top half of the action figure, carrying down again to some blue shin guards, which leads to her burgundy boots. Again, that burgundy matching up well to the color that's on the top of her shoulders. And you've got some subtle dirt wash on those blue armor pieces, her shin guards, and at the knee, and that certainly helps bring out some of the details within the sculpt. And if you look closely, it looks like you can even see some of the straps holding those armor pieces onto her shins. So detailing really looks great all around, really, for this action figure. And as you notice, she did come with a helmet, and that's not a removable helmet in the way that you're used to. It's a head swap, which is really great. Simply pop off her human head, which is held on with a double ball jointed neck post, and then you have the same post inside the helmet. So just snap that on, and you're in business with a whole different look to this action figure. Sculpting and paint detailing for the helmet looks excellent. It appears to my eye that this white and silver black pattern of the helmet on the front matches up very well with what she had in the show. Silver and black painting for the rangefinder on the side of the helmet, and that is not articulated. Very soft, very bendy, but you're not going to move it up and down. Personally, I'm alright with that. Otherwise, color detailing for the helmet looks fantastic. Good blue base color, some darker blue on the side of the, I guess the chin, if you will, the angled side piece of the helmet along the front, and then some darker blue as you get along the back. As for the articulation of the figure, whether it's the head or the helmet, great range of motion because of that double jointed neck post. No problem raising the arms straight up, and you get some good rotation. Because of those armor pieces though, like I said, you're getting about maybe the 10 and 2 o'clock position. Hinge and swivel at the elbow, up and down movement on each wrist, and also your rotation in there. She can do a full swivel at the waist, and you got some bend side to side and forward and back for a little bit of crunching. Great range of motion at the hip joint where the leg can swivel straight out and back and out to the side. Got your rotation at the thigh, hinge and swivel for the kneecap, and the same thing going on at the ankles. As for accessories, we'll count them as just the 2 blasters since we already talked about the helmet. I gotta say, I swear these weapons are getting smaller and smaller. Good detailing though. Seems pretty representative of how it looked in the show. Good silver color for the majority of the blaster with some brown coloring for the handle. Both weapons are styled in the same manner. She holds them quite well. And as I mentioned earlier, you can slide those into her holster. Bit of a tight squeeze. They're going to stay in place for sure. But due to how soft these weapons are, you're just going to want to have some care as you slide them into place. You can easily bend them before you get them into the holster. So my final thoughts is just, yeah, this is a super good looking action figure. It's hard to believe how far this line has come since 95, or I guess technically since 77. The face painting, the face sculpting looks fantastic. Really, like I said, looks representative of how the actress looked in the show that played Bo-Katan. The head swapping for the helmet is great, so you maintain proportions that are accurate to the action figure when you want the helmet on, and if you don't, it still looks great. She can hold it, and there's nothing all that noticeable about the fact that there's a neck post hiding in there. So if you're a fan of the show, Mandalorian, or even Clone Wars, I definitely recommend picking this one up. So that's going to wrap this one up. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this figure in the comment section below, and as always, thanks for watching.